Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. General Hospital Friday, May 17 recap. Brennan GH patient after shift trick. Jason grabs Sonny to stop Dex attack. General Hospital, GH, spoilers recap for Friday, May 17, reveals that Brooklyn Quartermain, Amanda Seton, and Harrison chases Josh Swigert. Wedding reception continued, so they shared their first dance and interacted with many of their guests. Violet Finn, Joe Feel Love, snapped Hamilton Finn, Michael Easton, out of his concern over the booze he accidentally drank since she wanted his honest opinion on her song. Finn assured Violet that it was amazing and gave her a hug. Violet later shared a dance with Chase and caught the bouquet when Brooklyn tossed it. Brooklyn and Chase eventually ended up in a Metro Court suite that was all decked out with flower petals. As Chase and Brooklyn flopped back on the bed, they planned their future and kicked off a passionate night together. Over with Sam McCall, Kelly Monaco, she convinced Damian Spinelli, Bradford Anderson, to investigate the FBI and the leverage they had over Jason Morgan, Steve Burton. Spinelli initially had some worries about Sam's plan, but he decided he was in because Jason would do the same for them. Since Giovanni Giovanni Mazza, father was in the military and died in Afghanistan before he was born, that gave him something to talk to Dex Heller, even Hofer, about at the reception. Dex reflected on his own military experience and got updates on Gio being a concert violinist while Sonny glared at the interaction nearby. Lois Cirillo, Rena Sofer, urged Sonny not to make it a big deal, but the situation escalated later. Dex brought Gloria Cirillo, Ellen Travolta, a glass of water and seemed amused as she tried to set him up with a lovely girl in the Cirillo family. Lois scolded Gloria, but she ultimately agreed Dex should meet her. Sonny kept watching Dex and followed him after he found a dropped hearing aid. Dex went looking for Carmine Cirillo, George Russo, thinking it belonged to him, but Sonny cornered him alone and delivered some threats. Sonny made it clear that the Cirillos were his people and that Dex needed to stay away from them. After Sonny pointed out that Dex was lucky to be breathing, he suggested it wouldn't stay that way for long if he didn't listen. Dex reached for Sonny's arm to stop him from walking away and insisted he wasn't Sonny's enemy. Sonny delivered a fierce blow to Dex's eye before losing all control and beating him up. Jason grabbed Sonny and eventually held him back, but Sonny remained irate and threatened to kill them both right as Christina Corinthos Davis, Kate Mansi, appeared. A horrified Christina dropped the cake plate she was holding and smashed it as restrained Sonny looked over in her direction. At the Quartermain stables, Sasha Gilmore, Sophia Matson, told Cody Bell, Josh Swigert, that she wasn't able to attend the wedding since she'd agreed to make so much food for the after-party. Now that Sasha was done, she shared a little picnic with Cody, including some expensive wine that Ned Quartermain, Wally Kurth, uncorked earlier and only drank a glass of. Cody made a prediction about not being able to afford a nice wedding if his bride wanted one someday. But Sasha talked about her garage ceremony with Brando Corbin, Johnny Wachter, and suggested the actual marriage was the important part. Once Cody put some music on and asked Sasha to dance, they shared a close moment. Sasha knew she should probably go, but she struggled to tear herself away from Cody's arms. In prison, another inmate caught Jack Brennan, Charles Mashore, with a shiv and wanted it for himself. Brennan attacked the guy instead and left him unconscious on the floor near the showers. Next, Brennan stabbed his own abdomen and put the shiv in the other inmate's hand before keeling over on the floor. Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, got news about the incident over the phone as Brennan was rushed into a trauma unit at GH. General Hospital spoilers say Brennan has some other tricks up his sleeve, so stay tuned. On a bustling Friday afternoon at General Hospital, the normally sterile and controlled environment was crackling with unexpected energy and tension. The hospital staff hurried through their routines, but the undercurrent of something brewing beneath the surface was palpable. By the end of the day, the events that unfolded would leave everyone reeling. Brennan, a new patient who had arrived earlier in the week under mysterious circumstances, was at the center of the storm. His presence had already sparked curiosity among the staff due to the high level of security surrounding his admission. Today, his situation took a dramatic turn. The incident began in the late afternoon when an unexpected commotion broke out in one of the patient rooms. Brennan had managed to get his hands on a makeshift shiv, a crude weapon crafted from hospital supplies. The staff had been meticulous, but somehow he had outwitted their precautions. The reason for his desperation became clear as Brennan cornered a nurse, demanding to see Sonny, the notorious mob boss who often lurked in the shadows of Port Charles. Sonny, unaware of the chaos brewing within the hospital, was downstairs in the cafeteria, having a terse discussion with his trusted enforcer, Jason Morgan. Jason had sensed the growing tension around Sonny's operations and was urging him to take a more cautious approach regarding their latest recruit, Dex. Dex had proven himself capable but volatile, and Jason feared his unpredictability could jeopardize their delicate balance of power. Sonny, however, was not one to back down from a challenge, especially when his authority was questioned. Their conversation was abruptly interrupted by the hospital's alarm system blaring through the corridors, signaling a code red. Meanwhile, Brennan's demands had reached the ears of the hospital's security team and Dr. Portia Robinson, who was leading the charge to defuse the situation. Portia, a seasoned professional, knew that handling Brennan required more than just physical intervention. She needed to understand his motive and calm him down without escalating the violence. Upstairs, the scene was tense. Brennan's eyes darted around, his hand gripping the shiv with a white-knuckled intensity. The nurse, though terrified, maintained her composure, trying to reason with him. "We can get Sonny for you," she said, her voice steady. "But you need to put down the weapon. We want to help you." Brennan's face twisted with indecision, but before he could respond, the door burst open, and Jason Morgan stormed in. Behind him was Sonny, his expression a mix of anger and concern. "Brennan, what the hell do you think you're doing?" Sonny's voice cut through the tension like a knife. Brennan's eyes widened as he saw Sonny, and for a moment, it seemed like he might relent. But then Dex appeared in the doorway, his presence immediately heightening the danger. Brennan's grip on the shiv tightened, and Jason, sensing the shift, moved swiftly. In a blur of motion, Jason tackled Sonny to the ground, just as Brennan lunged forward. Chaos erupted. The nurse screamed, diving out of the way. Jason's quick reflexes saved Sonny from the brunt of the attack, but Brennan's shiv still managed to graze Sonny's arm. Blood spattered across the sterile white floor, the vivid red a stark contrast to the clinical surroundings. Security guards rushed in, subduing Brennan and wresting the shiv from his hand. Dr. Portia Robinson arrived seconds later, immediately taking charge of the medical situation. She ordered the staff to prepare a trauma room, and Sonny was whisked away for treatment, his face pale but determined. As the dust settled, Jason and Dex exchanged a heated look. "This is exactly what I was talking about," Jason hissed. "He's a loose cannon." Dex's jaw tightened, but he said nothing, his eyes following the path where Sonny had been taken. The reality of the danger they faced every day had just been starkly underlined.